Sounds good.
Right on. Should be a good game.
Hope so.
Hey, so I just need to check your levels there.
Hey?
I just need to check your levels, so if you
Okay.
wouldn't mind just, I don't know, chatting just for a couple seconds there.
Sure. I just need to check my levels. Can you hear me? Test, test, test.
Please deliver your second
Is that okay?
Blackstone draw with a counterclockwise rotation.
Just try. Just. Yeah, let us know what you had for breakfast. That's a good audio test.
I had eggs and bacon and toast. Pretty standard breakfast with some tea and water.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
You bet. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I don't know your name.
Brent, it's okay.
Perfect.
Good morning, curling fans. Brent Lang here in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. I'm your host today for first round of the championship pool action here at the Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championships. Should be a great game here. We've got Team Alberta versus Team Quebec. Both teams have tons and tons of experience at the Canadian Seniors and in curling in general. Been playing for a long time. Two skips names that I certainly recognize in Diane Foster and Chantal Osborne. So it should be a great matchup today. As I mentioned, this is the start of the championship pool, and I've got my trusty iPad here with me. I can go over the standings with where everybody sits. We're all racing here, all the top teams. There's 8 teams still vying on the men's and the ladies' side, 8 teams each for the national championship here in Yarmouth. And the way that it works now is you bring your record from the preliminary round robin with you. So every game that you have won counts in a good way, and every game that you have lost is a bit of a detriment to you to get to that elusive playoffs and the goal of getting into the playoffs and giving yourself a chance. The playoff format is 4 teams. Top 4 after these final 4 round robin games top 4 records will get into these 2 semifinals where the top seed will play the 4th seed in the one semifinal, winner to the final, and the other side will be number 2 versus seed number 3. So that's where we're headed. We've got, on the men's side, we've only got 1 draw here today. The rest of the men are over at the curling club. We'll maybe talk a little bit about that. I was awfully surprised to hear that between an arena and the curling club, you've got seeding games that took place on the arena ice this morning, and we've got some championship pool games that are taking place at the curling club. Curling club ice is reasonable over there by the sounds of it and the looks of it, but certainly not up to arena standards, which is virtually impossible to do in a curling club. But on the men's side, we've got Manitoba leading the way at 6-0, Nova Scotia, Ontario at 5-1, Alberta and Quebec and Saskatchewan all at 4-2, and then New Brunswick and BC 3-3. They can't probably afford to lose any more games. They're going to have to run the table in the championship pool, which will certainly be difficult. But on the ladies' side, let's have a look as our game gets underway here. We have Sherry Anderson alone in first at 6-0 from Saskatchewan. Nova Scotia, Quebec at 5-1. So Chantal Osborne and her team that we're watching this morning are 5-1 and in a great place to make the playoffs. And then we've got Ontario and BC tied at 4-2. And then Alberta, Yukon, and Newfoundland and Labrador all at 3-3. So hard to say a must-win with 3 more games left, but I would guess this is a must-win for Alberta if they want to make the playoffs. So Chantal and her team have the hammer in the first end. I like the call from Diane Foster and Team Alberta, going to throw a center guard right away, and now Chantal is going to ask lead Sylvie Daniel to make this come around. I was reading an interesting story about Sylvie this morning from her bio. She started curling in October 1988. At a golf and curling tournament. Sounds like a great tournament to me. And she really enjoyed the game. And then some friends of hers, Roger, Chantal, and Serge, asked if she wanted to play in the mixed playdowns. And she was kind of shocked, saying, I don't know what I'm doing. And they went and played, and they won the regionals. They won the provincials and went on to a national championship. So she played in her first Canadian curling championship before she played in her 20th career curling game. So that's a pretty cool story. Certainly took me a lot longer than that, I can tell you that. But cool story there. A good shot there by Sylvie. Didn't quite curl enough. So going to allow lead Darlene Hall from Alberta a chance to chase this rock. Sweeping this one to try and bring it over. A little bit wide maybe out of Darlene's hand, but
not getting. That's nice, Dar. Good job.
It's a good shot, hit and stay. Randy and I were joking the other day as we read through the bios. Some teams do them, some teams don't, and we both kind of looked at each other and felt bad because, generally we didn't fill those out in our Briars over the years, and now we know how important they are. It's hard to talk about somebody you've never met if they don't give you any information. So, apologies to all the commentators over the years that I gave no information to. This one's very tight, I think. Can't remove this guard, unfortunately. That one's going to have to go back. 5 rock free guard zone. You cannot remove a rock until after the 5th rock of the end. And you can't remove that rock that's within the free guard zone, which is above the tee line, not in the rings. So that one gets replaced to the best of their knowledge. The 2 teams, the 2 skips agree that's about where it was. So early break for Alberta. Going to throw another center guard, and we're going to have some rocks in play here in the first end. I think you'll see Chantal try and bail out of this and ask second stone Marie-Josée to run back some guards. But here's our first look at Bev Buckley, second for Alberta. I mentioned in the opening that a lot of experience on this team, both teams actually, but I was reading through Diane's senior record, and you know, she was joking last night that we don't have to say ages, but the senior starts at 50 here, and she said the youngest person here is probably young enough to be her son, which I found, she found it amusing, so I was able to laugh at it as well. But Diane has played in so many Canadian senior championships over the years, and 2008, it looks to me like she won the World Senior Championship, so no stranger to this event. The guard slipped in the rings here. So going to offer second Marie-Josée a chance to chase. Hopefully they learn something on Sylvie's, but this one looks wide. Going to maybe just tick the top, just pick the top one.
Oh, you got it. Thank you. Thank you.
So I think we're going to see another call of the guard. See if they can get the weight right here. Bev was a little heavy on her first one. At some point in this end, if Chantal doesn't get a big shot out of somebody to really open this up, I think you're going to probably see her switch gears. And being that Alberta stone's not in the forefoot, they might just say, let's just draw around and see if we can get shot rock and maybe even set up a multiple score.
Yep. 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 Over curling hard.
It was interesting last night in the Everest Funeral Concierge, obviously the title sponsor. They do sponsor basically we take over the pub in the hotel every night for the lounge for all the players. And first night I was here, it was certainly packed. Last night it wasn't that packed, and today the championship pool starts, so I think maybe we're seeing a little less socializing and a little more focus. But after today there'll be a few more teams whose, unfortunately, their hopes are going to be dashed. And sometimes as curlers we like to drown our sorrows in good company, and the odd drink. The drink special of the week is called the Iceman. There's a great shot there. Opened it right up. Nice double takeout, and that's going to change the complexion of this end, but Diane's going to stay on the offense and try and continue to guard. The nicest part about that is that there's they've got a yellow one up there that they can use for Team Quebec. So third stone, Karen Morrison from Alberta, being asked for the intern. So they haven't seen this turn this end, but both teams do throw the draw of the button in the pregame practice. They know both sides. So the Iceman is the drink special of the week, and I had to try it. Al Hackner was there, obviously named after him. That's his nickname over the years. And to me, it just tasted like a glass of sugar. So it's not for me, but everybody, there was a lot of bright blue drinks floating around the lounge the last couple of days, but be interested to see how that goes tonight. So another missed opportunity on the guard, but a good result. Made the come around instead, but leaving that shot rock exposed. So this is our first look at José Friolet, third for Quebec. This one's getting tight to the guard. I would be sweeping this one. Oh, and what a shot. Never mind, don't listen to the dummy in the booth. That is a fantastic shot. I didn't even think that double was possible. Just gets by the guard, makes the double, and now Alberta's got a chase all of a sudden after being in control of this end from the get-go. You can see this just gets by the guard. If that ticks that guard, that's disaster. They're going to get to guard two of them top forefoot. So we'll see if Karen Morrison can make this chase. Sounds like she has.
Yes. Yes.
And a nice hit and stay, leaving Team Quebec the opportunity to make that hit and roll behind the corner guard. The French is not great. I should have asked Chantal for a favor before. I know this team practiced a lot at the Ottawa Curling Club. I remember as a junior in 1998, Chantal won the Welton Beauchamp. I still think that's the best bonspiel ever. Used to be a great time, tons of great teams in a great city in Ottawa. So I know she speaks English. I should have asked her for a favor for the commentator in the booth today, but I'll do my best to try and understand what they're saying. A good roll there and a great start from Jose, the third for Quebec,
I think
making
this
the
is like
double,
other
hitting and
sheet
rolling
too,
away
where it's
from
a
the
little
guard.
straighter here.
C'est juste. Peut-être, là, mais j'ai pas assez pour une faire une différence.
So Diane switching to the inside out
Elle, la première,
path.
elle va dessus.
Generally, you'll get a lot more curl throwing inside out from the inside of the sheet to the outside of the sheet rather than outside in, which would be the opposite.
Elle court plus que pendant la semaine comme c'est là.
Just a personal preference.
Pendant la semaine, comme pendant le début de la semaine.
A little bit more room for error if there's more curl.
Yep. Yep. Hard.
Really important she sticks around here. This one is really curling. See if the sweepers can hold it. I think they have. Just rolls out. So that's going to be a free opportunity here for Chantal. It'll be interesting as she's looking at it to see if she's going to split it
Other sheets that run straight there.
Non, ben, ouais, je connais mieux, mais à
or
cause
if
de
she's
ça,
going to
ils
play
vont
the
tout
come
faire.
around.
Ça va être trop loin. On va y aller de même.
Okay.
OK?
I think she's
Well,
decided
let's
let's
go.
make that come around.
Not straight there. That moved.
Both are good options.
Ouais, back 8. Back 8 parce qu'elle est loin. J'en pogne à peu près un quart. Un quart. Sur le 4.
I thought I heard her say back 8 there. So she is playing the split.
I don't know if I need my hot patch.
That's an awful lot of ice for the split. This is one where to make a split like this really well, you almost have to throw it through the rings for the speed to get the separation. But we don't want to do that very often because if it doesn't get the line, we don't want to slide through the rings. So taking a little bit of extra ice. Bit of a new path down the middle here that they don't break in this path as much as the wider draw path. I think she's well wide of the split here. This looks like she's just maybe overthrown her first one of the game here, and that extra weight's going to have it run very, very straight, a lot straighter than she thought, but she's substantially heavy here. If she had the line, that's weight that you can make the shot with, but you can see she probably needed a foot less ice, even more than a foot if you're going to throw it that hard. So now the momentum switches back to Alberta. Diane Foster with a chance to make the come around and put some pressure on Chantal, and at the very worst, force Quebec to one. But certainly the steal possibility is, well, it's a real possibility. You can be buried full 4 foot here, side 4.
Okay, 15.
Looks like a couple of slow starts around the rings here. Not a ton of activity, not a ton of rocks in play really anywhere. So Diane Foster, intern, come around.
You can go. Hard for line 2. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Line looks great if the weight's there.
Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
Not going to get buried here, so Chantal is going to have the opportunity
Okay.
to make the blank. Both skips fooled a little bit there, you know, over icing, or I'm not sure if it was release or just thinking it was going to curl more. I mean, that's a little bit light, and a couple more feet in it, it's going to curl a little bit more, but certainly not going to get buried. So neither one of the last 2 shots were on the right line. So Chantal and Team Quebec certainly trying to hit and roll out here. Blank the end, retain hammer into N2.
Skips throwing 2-7. Very yellow rocks.
Yes!
Got the weight right, but sounds like they think she's got this curl in. Looks pretty good to me. No, she did nose it. I'm off in the corner here, and I can't call line apparently. So one yellow, one for Quebec, and they'll take a 1-0 lead into the second end. We'll be back in a few.
Yeah,
The Curling Cares calendar is back for 2023. 25 curling athletes from 7 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the action, the Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championships. We're on Sheet C as always, and we've got a bit of an interesting first end and a 1-0 lead for Quebec. Alberta will have the hammer now, so going to have the opportunity to throw up a corner guard if they like and try and dictate play and try and get some rocks in play and maybe make a deuce or even more. So lead Sylvie Daniel here from Quebec being asked to draw one into the forefoot. Not the result that Chantal wanted on her for her last shot last end, but I've always been a fan of, if you do get the hammer, the last thing you want to do is give up that steal. You've earned kind of a free point, so you don't want to flash that one. She'll be disappointed that she nosed it, but certainly better than the alternative of the flash. And a good start by Sylvie. So we'll see what Diane chooses to do here. Yeah, she's going to throw a corner guard. It was interesting last night. You hear Diane and Al Hackner chatting and reminiscing about over the years and the amount of experience between the two of them. You know, both having played in multiple decades. I think I said yesterday, I believe Hack told me he's been to a national in 5 or 6 decades or something crazy like that.
Make sure. Yeah, that's looking good.
Good looking shot here from Darlene Hall. It's important to, on the corner guards, when the ice is curling like this, you don't want high corner guards. Easy to get buried around, but very easy for the other team to chase. So that's a good corner guard. And so many leads, so many teams, so many players just, you know, it's a guard, it's a guard. Just throw it out there, hit the ocean, as we would sometimes say. And that's not good enough. I mean, if we ask our skips and thirds to draw to the inch, surely as a front end player we can get it within a foot, or even more than that. I know Dawn McEwen, playing with my wife over the years, that was always her focus was, look, if Jen's going to have to make her shots perfect, I'm going to focus on making my shots perfect. And I don't think anybody made more perfect lead shots than Dawn McEwen over the years. Comes down to a mindset and that ability, and not the ability, the commitment to get better, to get to that level.
Down, yeah, like 10-3.
So good start here. Decent guard there from Sylvie. Didn't quite curl enough, leaving the chase for Darlene Hall. Believe Diane asked for about a 10, which I think is about board weight.
Gotta curl. Nothing yet.
I grew up on teams that rarely used stopwatches.
Hard, Karen.
A
Hard.
lot of the ladies teams, especially over the years, they time every single shot. I think it's just because men are lazy, but it's certainly good information. Rather than saying, you know, I think you were heavy, it's like, no, this is what you threw, so you were heavy or you were light. I think some teams, men and women, fall in love with the stopwatch, split times, hog to hog, whatever they fall in love with, and get away from the feel of the game, try and make it too technical, but everybody has their own preference. Some didn't curl enough, didn't remove the Quebec stone, and now a free come around for Quebec second, Marie-Josée, and I apologize, I can't pronounce English names properly, so I'm probably going to struggle with the French ones, but I'll do my best. Apologies to all the friends and family of all of the athletes this week as I muck through the name pronunciations. So coming up a little short there, but certainly a problem rock for Alberta. Can't really leave that there. It's too valuable a stone for Quebec. So Diane's gonna ask Bev Buckley here to take this out. Probably stay right there would be good, and just switch the color of that rock. A setup shot for sure.
Other side maybe. No, news. That's all right.
So she was trying to roll away by the sounds of it, but that's in a pretty good spot. Left the come around though. If it doesn't roll wide like that at all, this come around's not possible. So Marie-Josée Pricor, she had this shot already. You got to think she's going to be very close. She had the line pretty good. She just has to throw a little bit of extra weight.
Ça va être à Sylvie. Faut que j'attende, Sylvie.
This one's hanging. Don't want to tap this red one in, and I think that's exactly what she's about to do. Unforced error, big break for Alberta. Even tapped it. That's much too heavy is her challenge there. Tapping it right to the tee line, which tells me that was probably back ring if it even would stay in the house. So big miss there from Team Quebec, and an opportunity for Alberta now with the hammer, lying one and shooting to draw in and lie two buried. As always, if anybody watching has any questions about the event, about really anything, I'll do my best to stay up to date on my Twitter. It's at blang99. That's LAING 99. Tweet at me, reply to one of my tweets, however you want to do it, and I'll try and get to those. Unfortunate here, going to open up Shot Rock. So a bit of a shaky start to this end. Quite a few misses so far. But, you know, that's the one thing I've noticed this week is non-stop momentum switches, not just in the game, but at every end it seems back and forth and back and forth. And curling is a game of misses. You know, it's how, kind of like golf, when you make your great shots, they're always going to be great. But how bad are your bad shots? You know, can you get something out of every rock you throw? Because sometimes that's the difference between winning and losing a game. This one's got a curl. Jose has this one a little bit wider, a little bit heavy, or both. Hit and stayed. Lying two. More than likely, somebody's going to score here. So Diane and Alberta are thinking, well, let's make sure it's us, number one. And number two, if we're going to score, we've got 4 corner guards. What a great opportunity to score more than one. The corner guards are hooked as well, which means there's no runbacks available for anybody. So first one in here, buried in front of the tee line, is going to take firm control of this end.
Stay close for line.
See what Karen has here on her intern come around the corner guard.
Yes, if you can. Yes, if you can. Hard. Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Line's not good. A little bit light, but they were concerned right away, so it tells me she didn't get out to the line, intended line. And now Quebec's going to realize that they better beat them in there. So Jose throwing third stones here. In her bio, she says this is her first national women's championship. She's super excited to be here. What a great place to play in your first national championship at the Everest. Anything that's sponsored by Everest is always going to be world class. It's always going to be experience focused, not just on the curling, but the entire event on and off the ice. This one's really hanging. She might tap them in here if that hits too thick. Playing very friendly, back and forth. That's quite a few misses in a row here. Certainly somebody's going to make one of these come arounds, and that's going to be the team that controls this end, getting late in the end. But I believe Jose had played in one mixed nationals before. This is her first women's nationals, as I said. So switching to the out turn, Karen with another chance to come around, set up the deuce. Another one that's going to hit the guards. Not sure what's going on here, folks. And now this is getting, as much as there's nothing even in the 8-foot, it's getting harder and harder for Alberta to get into the rings for even 1 point. So a pretty good opportunity here for Quebec. Again, somebody's going to make this come around. Ice is maybe straighter than they're expecting, or they're not hitting the lines the way they expect. With me not being right behind the sheet, I can't say for sure. I don't get a great angle on the line of delivery or the release. But again, to me, that looked like I just saw the ice there quickly. That's a lot of ice.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
if Chantal is heavy here or if she's a little bit too positive. I don't know that this is going to curl enough. That has to curl. She's trying to get to the other edge of the forefoot, so she's asking for it to curl over 5 feet. Which to me right now, it looks like the ice is curling about 4 feet.
J'ai peur, je veux pas raiser la sienne, tu sais, mettons. Je veux pas pogner le gros curl. Je pense que la ligne est tight, là, mais je vais vous la donner. On va voir ce que ça va faire. Oui, 4. Pas plus, fille.
Can't quite hear Chantal there, and my French is pretty bad, so hopefully some of the viewers caught that. I think what she said maybe was, quick translation, if that was my skip, was, I'll show you how easy this come around is, ladies. Watch and learn. Maybe that's what she was saying. I don't know. Obviously, I'm making that up. The line here looks good. Looks light, though. She's got the line nailed. Just a little bit light. Get that biter at least.
I think I almost need to hit and roll.
So, and you can hear Diane, I think I almost need to hit and roll. But Diane's got to start thinking about hit and roll, okay.
Control.
But if you don't hit and roll, like you might want to play a shot here that even if it doesn't go perfectly well, you open up a path into the forefoot. I might look at one of those taps, that center line tap. But this is a great shot if she can make it, because there's no yellows really lined up to tap in there anywhere, and then the problem becomes Chantal's and Team Quebec's if she can roll. And if she doesn't roll, she does still have that red tap available in the middle. Important to stick around, at least have Quebec have to deal with this. I mean, nose hit's not a great result, but it's better than a high side rollout. Got to give this one a chance.
Curl. Curl hard. It's falling.
I don't know that it's falling. I think that looked like a big back, pretty big set from Diane maybe. I think it was, the turn might be closer to settling, you know, let it settle.
Drifted away.
Most people's out turn will float a little bit and the in turn will curl earlier. Can't really tell you why, that's just how it goes for most people. There are exceptions, but. So now, if you're Quebec, what's the easiest shot for Alberta to get 1 point here? Looks to me like they have 2 taps. Neither is easy. If she could get one to where she just tapped there, she'd kind of make both taps harder. And as long as she gets through that hole with anything in the rings, it's probably a pretty good shot. She's just going to guard the hole, I think. She's going to guard that out turn draw through the hole, which is fine. Make Diane make a pressure shot, a difficult shot against 3. Or she could be playing a little extra weight and playing a little chip off her last shooter there and roll into the 12-foot, which would be fantastic and kind of block both taps almost. She's really gone after this one. That looks like a lot of weight. So she must be playing the chip. I think this is a great call. It's really close, too.
Yes! 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 Wow! Marie! Marie! Okay.
Oh, that's a great shot. I think that's exactly what she was playing. Awfully difficult shot coming here for Alberta. Very precise. Didn't really take away the center tap. It didn't take away either tap, really. But a super uncomfortable situation here for Alberta. I know they're only in the 12-foot, but there's just no easy access in, and she's actually going to play the hit here. I don't know that this is going to work out great. Has to be very, very thin on this to get into that back one. A lot of times you're going to hit and roll into the top one, and I think they're going to steal at least 2. I guess if you could make the double on the back one as well, but
Parce que quand je l'ai lancé, il me semblait que je n'avais bien plus.
Quarter stone, she might be able to score. Don't want to just tick the back of the top yellow there. If you hit it too thin and throw it too hard, it might tick and slide through the back and give up a 2 steal or a 3 steal that way. Tough shot here for Diane. Second end, final stone. Here it comes. See, that one's still going back too. Yeah, she's just setting her out turn and not really feeling it, but this is really close. Oh, what a great shot. Came off the back, threw the right weight. If she threw that too hard there and hit it there, it might go through the back door, but what a great shot from Alberta. We got a 1-1 tie and an interesting second end. Off to the third we go. We'll be back in a few moments.
The Curling Cares calendar is back for 2023. 25 curling athletes from 7 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back, curling fans. We are in the third end here of a tight battle. You know, an interesting second end, mostly because there were a lot of misses. But rocks ending up kind of everywhere, and Diane Foster has to make a very difficult hit and roll or a hit and wiggle, whatever you want to call that, and she made it perfectly. As you can see on the replay here, just hit about a half a rock, came off the back of the top one, and came right into the forefoot for her single point. Kind of saved the day there. That could have been a big score, a big steal for Quebec. So update around the rings. We've got Saskatchewan versus Yukon on the ladies' side, and Sherry Anderson and team rolling 3-0 and have Yukon in some trouble here this end as well. Next one is BC and Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia with a deuce in the first and then forced BC to 1 in the second. So 2-1 lead there with the hammer for Teresa Breen and Team Nova Scotia. We've got Ontario and Newfoundland. I didn't see how that ended up. It looked to me like Newfoundland had a chance for 2. They were trailing 2-0 playing the second. I'll give you an update on that as soon as I see it. And then in our only men's game in the arena this morning, we've got Team Nova Scotia with a big 3-ender in the second after giving up a deuce in the first. So Nova Scotia up 3-2. New Brunswick with the hammer and the typical setup there. Top 4, tight guard, corner guard. Looking to be an interesting game going on there as well. So, actually Newfoundland got 3 points to take a 3-2 lead on Team Ontario after 2 ends. Team Ontario with the hammer going into the third. Back in our game, the feature sheet. First one back 4, corner guard. Now Diane is asking lead Darlene Hall to throw up a center guard. Pretty standard start. And then you're going to see Chantel either come around and freeze to the back one in the center, or she might just ignore that for now and just go around the corner guard. I know I'm a broken record, but we want to score 2 points or more. You got to get one in the house that the other team can't hit. The earlier you do that, the better chance you have of making a deuce.
Go, 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 go. Rock on the other side of center. Come on, come on, come on.
So that's a good center guard. It's not fully buried, the one in the back, but you want to make sure you cheat towards center line there. Over curl is just another corner guard. So Chantel's just going to play around the center guard. Leads Sylvie Daniel. Sylvie's played in 5 Scotties Tournament of Hearts. So has Chantel. I know they've played in every Scotties they've played in has been together. It's a lot of national championships to qualify for, especially when it's the Scotties. You know, the best of the best in our country in the women's game. So another little miss there. They're really struggling with the line today, and it looks to me like the ice is pretty good. I think they're just struggling with maybe a little bit of inconsistency on their releases, not giving their skips what the skips are expecting. So you can see the ice here. Diane's expecting 5 feet of curl, trying to draw the button. She's got it in the middle of the 12-foot. They're thinking this one's a little bit heavy. Looking like this one's behind the tee line. Pretty good effort, just a couple of feet heavy. So 14 seconds with no sweeping. So it's certainly, the speed is pretty good. 14.5 to the button with a little bit of sweep. So Chantal could just draw down to the pocket there, but I like hitting this guard. You got a couple of yellow corner guards. The pocket's still going to be there, and it's really tough for Diane to guard it. You can double off of either rock. And tied with the hammer. It's not like she's down points. I like this call.
Yep. Yes. Hard, Sylvie, hard. Hard.
Every team's going to kind of
Hard,
develop.
hard, 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 hard.
Oh, didn't quite roll far enough, but opened it up, and now Diane can probably guard it. Every team's going to develop kind of how they want to play the game, a bit of a team identity in terms of, are we an aggressive team? Are we a defensive team? When do we take our chances? What are we comfortable with? You know, sometimes you figure out what you want to be as a team by really identifying what you don't want to be. You know, whether that's super defensive or super aggressive. It's a chance for the guard here. Intern guard, Bev Buckley from Alberta. Really right beside the yellows there in the hole. You're gonna see Quebec run it back again. Chantal wanted that yellow one to roll another foot or two. Even roll out would have been fine. Because it stayed there, it's allowing Alberta to throw a guard here and have both of the rocks buried, but this one's over curling.
Little heavy.
A little heavy, you could hear Diane say. If that stops 2 or 3 feet shorter, it's fine. But Chantal doesn't like this setup. She could come through the hole there and make that double, looks like to me, and lay kind of shot buried. It would even spin up a bit. I don't, I think I would take on that risk, but nothing wrong with this. Difficult shot, however. Seems to me like Chantal really want to make sure she has a shot to score here. If this one curls just on the nose, going to jam it in there. And it's taken away that double now. That's unfortunate. It's rolled buried, made the double a lot harder, even if the guard wasn't there. And now they're all yellow rocks in front of the house, though. So Quebec with lots of raise opportunities, but Alberta lying 2 and shooting. Saw a couple other familiar names in the bios from Team Quebec, and I'm not trying to play favorites here. I only got information on Diane Foster. Maybe I was looking through my book here, and that's all I have. So, but Team Quebec saying that 2 of their biggest influences in the game were Coach Dave Merklinger. So anybody that's been around curling for any more than a few days knows who Dave Merklinger is. Still a fantastic ice maker. Was a legend of the Ottawa Curling Club, where Chantal practiced and played a lot, and now lives in Vernon, BC, I believe. But they said he gave them the confidence they needed to believe in themselves and really reach what they were capable of. And 5 Scotties appearances, you know, winning the Welton Beauchamp, one of the premier tour events. They had a lot of success. And the other name was Pierre Charette, curling royalty in Quebec for sure, even in Canada. Nobody loves curling more than Pierre Charette. Nobody thinks about curling more than Pierre Charette, in my experience. And you know, he worked with Chantal specifically on the strategy of the game and how to play the game, which is, I can say from experience, it's hard to learn everything. So if you can find somebody that's already been through it all and just pick their brain and learn and watch and learn from them, it's, you're going to save yourselves. You're going to compress timelines, save yourself a lot of time. This one's got a curl to get by that center guard, and this could be trouble. I don't think we'll quite get by. Oh, feather. Fortunate, but still only 3rd shot. But I think that came back. The red is now not dead buried maybe behind that yellow one, but certainly a fairly easy guard to take that away. So the double is there if Alberta misses this open guard. So still advantage Alberta. That could have been a lot worse, though. Got the feather tick. Actually, a little bit thicker would have been better, but hard to call those. Just want to make sure you try and get it off that guard.
I don't know. This good. Just throw it good.
Just throw it good. It's a simple game. I like it, Diane. Just throw it good.
You took more. Well, whatever. Okay.
Diane doesn't sound totally convinced about what Karen's asking her for the ice, but sometimes you kind of gotta give in to the thrower. I mean, they're the ones who have to feel comfortable with it, really. You got to give them honest feedback, but
We're in here.
at some point it comes down to, hey, I got to throw this thing, and I'd like to throw it here. This is tight. This is really, really curling.
Get right in behind. Yep.
Calling for the straight come around now. A little bit heavy.
It's losing its handle too.
This one's really going sideways. And when they do lose their, get third shot, ladies.
Okay.
Okay, they did get third shot. If that had stopped 3 inches sooner, that would have been a huge mistake. Bringing that back yellow one into play. So Team Quebec going to try the freeze here. Tricky little shot. Hard to get the weight right and get through that hole, I think. I think it might over curl. But really, really important to get shot rock here. It's getting late in the end. Don't want to put that. Want to take as much pressure off your skip as you can. Got a curl here. If the weight's close, it should. Maybe a little chip and roll for shot. Okay, shot rock. Not what they wanted. A little bit heavy. But Alberta's definitely going to have to deal with that. And they're going to be behind the tee line. So Chantel's going to have a chance here. Certainly going to have a shot to get shot rock. They can't do anything here that would shut her down completely. Seems like there's a little bit more intensity in the line calling today. We're getting closer to Championship Saturday.
Roll your weight back.
So the intensity gets ramped up. The bar's a little empty last night. Pretty predictable. Problem with that is you put a lot of pressure on yourself, right? As Randy said earlier in the week, there's really only 2 things that can happen with the curling. You can win, which is one team, and everybody else loses. And there's 2 things that can happen with the whole experience. You can have fun, or you cannot have a great time. The only one you can control is whether or not you have a great time. Everything else is really, you can help control, but it's really out of your control sometimes. Curling's a strange game that way, so make sure you have a good time and hope for the best on the ice. Do what you can to give your team a chance to win. So a good shot there by Diane. I think she wanted to stay closer to the forefoot, but
Big time.
certainly lying 4 is always a good thing.
Parce que toi, t'étais back là, puis t'as juste passé de push. Il va falloir que les filles soient proches.
The challenge here is that staggered hole. So yes, there's room to come through there, but I don't know that there's room to come through there with T-line weight and just freeze on that one side forefoot. If you could, that would be shot rock and impossible to remove. I think that's what they're trying.
95. Soyez prêtes, les filles, OK? Parce que Josée, elle a passé très, très proche de celle-là, puis elle a tué à la pierre. Fait que, just freeze.
I just can't hear Chantel. I know my French isn't great, but I can pick up some if I could hear her.
95.
Plus, some curling words in French are English, so I can cheat a little bit too. Out-turn draw. If she doesn't make this one, she probably won't have a shot on her last one, folks. So this is a big shot, obviously. Sweeper's on it early. Tells me they think it's light.
OK, cœur, les filles!
Line looks good. I think line is fine. It's a speed shot, ladies. Get the speed right. This looks like a fantastic shot.
Oh, just freeze!
What a shot.
Whoa!
Oh, that's just perfection, really. A little bit, if it stopped a little bit earlier, it's a little bit harder, but I don't think she can see enough to get rid of that. And even if she does hit it, it probably just comes back on that other red one.
Get to nose there.
That's not going anywhere.
Definitely can't get to nose.
Unless I can
It's
get
a
to
quarter
nose.
buried. What she might be able to do is come down there with kind of back ring and kind of hit and roll to the button, and the yellow one rolls with it behind it and make Chantel's shot
there.
very difficult. She can get shot rock doing that.
Still went shot though, hey? Sweeve in a little bump's okay.
Another option is you just kind of throw a guard that same draw for
Do
2.
that good.
Make Chantel make one of those taps on the yellows for her extra point. You hate to guard and force somebody into a shot that you know is there, though. Personally, I like the little tap here, back 8-foot weight. Try and get to most of that. Hit and roll to the button, have the yellow and come over. Even if you roll in front of your red, it's still jammable. It's a difficult one to remove. I think if you freeze here, a lot of times you don't get shot, but it will make that shot for Chantal very difficult for 2. So this is a good call. Seen this path now multiple times, so should have a really good idea here. I would expect Diane to be close on this.
Line's gonna get tight.
Okay, she thinks she's a little
Yeah,
tighter than she
line.
wants.
Yeah, line.
Curling early here.
Curl.
Don't think you want to curl. She must be heavy.
Curl.
It looked like it was curling early.
Curl, curl, curl. Curl, curl.
Our weight was really good. Ended up in the right spot, but a bit of plinko on the way. Touched a couple of rocks and ended up. Difficult shot here now for Chantal. I think she's going to have to play a little bit of weight at this, and even then, I don't know that there's a shot for 2 here, other than a tap to the cold tap to the button.
Couldn't quite carve it there, just about. Ouais, mais c'est parce que quand elle arrive à la ligne, elle peut y aller, là, mais OK.
She's thinking in-turn draw here, fade away, curling away from the button. I don't think it's the yellow corner guard on the left side of our screen that's the challenge. The draw to the button line is almost middle 12. That's the line there to get by that corner guard. I agree with her, but I think you're going to end up dead buried behind the yellow guard that's off center, and you're not going to be second shot. But now that I've said that, as if anybody's watched multiple games, you know that I'm mostly wrong. So she'll probably make it. Throw the right speed, maybe a little bit of extra rotation so it doesn't curl quite as much. If you want to throw a bit of a trick shot here, but see what Chantal's got.
Curl. Curl. Curl.
So she's got it wider than she wants, trying to carve it over, trying to make it curl. I think she's on the perfect line to draw the button, but the line to draw the button was through that corner guard, unfortunately. So a well played end at the end, at least. A couple of big shots and a force to a single point for Quebec. Team Quebec takes a 2-1 lead into the 4th end. We'll be right back.
The Curling Cares calendar is back for 2023. 25 curling athletes from 7 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back, curling fans. We are live coming at you from Yarmouth, Nova Scotia at the Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championships. I'm Brent Lang. I'm your host today. I am solo in the booth again. Randy Furby has been joining me from time to time, but he's got a lot of other jobs here. My only job is to watch some great curling and hopefully add a little bit of value and a few comments while we go here. So good start to the game. Tight match so far. 2-1 for Quebec after 3 ends. Around the rings, there was just a massive break there for Newfoundland in the ladies' game against Ontario. For Ontario fans, unfortunately, Newfoundland stole 3. Joanne Rizzo had a difficult tap against 3 and just overthrew it and didn't curl enough. So it's now 6-2 Newfoundland after 3 ends. We've got Sherry Anderson, Team Saskatchewan, stole 2 in the second, actually gave up 2 in the third. So they're up 5-3 with the hammer playing the 4th. Not cruise control, but getting close. And Nova Scotia up 3-1 on BC on the ladies' side as well. And the only men's game, we got Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, tied at 3 after the 3rd end. Last stone thrower, I believe it's Mike Kennedy. Looks like, I'm not sure who's calling the game for New Brunswick. I'll have to look that up. Looks like Odishaw is calling the game, and Mike Kennedy throwing last draw for 1 to tie the game up at 3. Back in the feature game here, center ice. Alberta lead, Darlene Hall going to be asked for the intern come around. So far, no deuces in the game. No lack of rocks in play. But I think admittedly both teams struggled a little bit. Some uncharacteristic misses, some opportunities left on the table. some big shots by the skips. That first shot from Chantal last end was huge. If she doesn't make that shot, then all of a sudden Diane's shooting and lying 3 or 4, and there's really no way in.
Nice, Jar.
So a great shot, and then Diane very close on her last one. A little fortunate to wick twice and end up exactly where she wanted to be. And then I really don't think Chantal had a shot for 2 there, but a good effort on her last one.
Off the ball. Off, off, off. Off, 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 off.
This one looks a little wide and heavy. Was asked for the freeze. Might want to think about going around it.
Joe,
Chantal
Joe,
is.
Joe. Go, Joe. Go. Hard. Correct, Sylvie.
So a good heads-up line call there. The sweeper is letting Chantal know we're a little bit heavy. We're not going to make the freeze, so don't chap off of it. Sweep it by. And now Darlene's got to make a pretty precise draw to the button here. Around one top kind of 8 foot, top 4 foot almost. So if they make this, though, what a great start for Alberta.
Getting better.
Key here for the sweepers is get the weight right. We fall in love with the line a lot, especially with this directional sweeping. And I think maybe they knew that one was heavy and were trying to carve it early because they knew that. But as a lead, that's a bit of a cardinal sin. You can't miss heavy. No way to make that rock better ever. All it can do is really cause you problems. And another teeter-totter back to Quebec if they can make this freeze now. We've got a very good chance of setting up a deuce here. So we've got Marie with the in-turn, freeze. Sorry, you can't set up a deuce if you don't have the hammer. Quebec does not have the hammer, so this is to set up a potential steal. But again, anything but heavy here is very usable.
Whoa.
You can see Marie a little bit concerned watching it there. She knows she's a little heavy. That was the shot Alberta would have died for, would have paid a lot of money for. So not what she wanted, but not horrible.
Backline weight.
Certainly not no deuce available.
It's okay.
Yeah, the opportunity to kill one here. Diane, if I was throwing this shot, I would have to ask you for less ice. We'll see if you know your players here though. Maybe Bev's got an in-turn that curls, because with hack weight, I think that's about a foot too much ice.
More room than Dars. More room than Dars.
I don't understand the line choice there, and that's not all on the skip either, folks, for anybody watching.
Carve, Karen.
You know, it's easy to say, oh, that was the wrong ice, and it's like, yeah, but you threw at it. You knew before you threw, and she's actually light.
Not so bad.
So if she had thrown hack weight there, she would have just whizzed by everything, which arguably might have been better. She just kind of pushed them both more barrage, much more difficult chase. Quebec, certainly heart rate's rising here, excitement. Can't ask for much better situation to steal a point or two. Now if Marie can make this freeze that she was asked for on her first, just top 8 foot freeze on half of that red one.
Okay, whoa.
Alberta would need to shoot 2 or 3 times in a row to get them out. So not what they wanted, but still guarding the yellows a little bit, and Diane's had enough. Okay, Bev, Diane says, let's clean up this yellow. Maybe we can even get a yellow coming back in there. Anything into the rings is helpful for Alberta. Just blow that up. It's a pretty bad situation. Don't want to nose this.
Whoa, other way. Whoa. That's all right.
Okay. Got one of them off there. Opportunity now, I think you'll see Chantal. She'll just throw the straight guard. Yeah. Because the shooter rolled a little bit, the freeze and the one in the rings isn't as enticing. So just trying to guard that situation. Just kind of dead guard the yellow one. And again, this is a situation where it's easy to think, well, as long as I guard it, but where do we want this rock? Is it a high guard? Is it a tight guard? Is it beside the red?
Ça va être la pierre à Marie.
because that really affects
Ça
the
va être la pierre
line.
à
If you
Marie.
get the speed wrong on a guard, you're never going to get the right line. And I think as curlers, a lot of the time, I think we take guards for granted. Like it's an easy shot, but it's probably the easiest shot I see missed the most.
Vas-y, Marie.
And here's another one. This
Marie,
could be real
Marie.
bad.
Ah, les deux, les deux, les deux, les deux, les deux, les deux, les deux.
Really don't want to set up a triple here. Oh boy. Certainly a double available. Luckily, it probably jams on the red one, but that's an opportunity missed there. Jose will not be happy with herself on that one. She's 10 feet heavy. So a chance for Karen Morrison here to get them out of some trouble. Still going to leave Quebec lying shot rock for sure. Maybe even two, but at this point, if you can nose this. Sounds good. Okay, could have let that curl a little bit. It's much better. No double on the yellows. Yellow's still lying two. But where does, yeah, you can see the reds are starting to build up, and Chantel's a little bit worried about that. I think the hit here makes some sense. That red rock right on the center line, top 8 foot, that's a problem rock. If you could ever nose that one, you'd love it, but it's risky. Hitting it high would jam it, and that would be really bad. So taking on a shot that they can get a good result, but it's much easier. Bringing the heat here, throwing this quite hard and not liking it. She set this one wide. I don't know if she's gonna make any noise. Oh, wow. Tough end for Jose there. She won't be happy with herself there, and luckily there's still a chance here. They were sitting so good that they're still not. They're in trouble, but there is an opportunity here still for a force. Everything's on the table at this point. Force, steal, 2, 3, 4 for Alberta. So we'll see what Karen can come up with. She just threw this spot. She can roll a little bit towards the center line. It's going to cause some real problems for Team Quebec. Got this one out there.
Any way you can. Any way you can. Hard, Bevy, you got it. Come on, hard.
I think she's lying to you. So she was worried that she had flashed it. Okay, so still trouble here for Quebec after a couple of unfortunate misses. But Quebec is also still shot rock, so are they going to play the hit? You can see Chantel's worried about the big end here, and I don't blame her. Hitting 4th shot rock, if she doesn't roll into the rings, into the center here for 2nd or 3rd shot, Diane's got a pretty much wide open hit to lie 3, so I don't see a lot better than this. Again, I would still love to hit that one in the middle, but it's taking on a lot of risk, and the reward is not that high.
Close. Close. Yep. Whoa.
So she liked the throw.
Yep. Yes. Roule, star, roule.
How's this shot? That's a fantastic shot and puts the pressure right back on Alberta.
Very good shot. Have to get to nose on that.
Yeah, you have to try and kill that and stay. Getting to nose is awfully difficult. What a great shot by Chantal Osborne. Well thrown, well called.
Faites comme dans pratique.
I have to get to nose.
Dans pratique, elle m'aurait fait ça.
So we'll see what Diane learned on the hack waiter earlier that ended up being back 8.
Even up hack. I think it'll move still. We could do this. Play weight.
I don't think there's a double there, Diane, if that's what you're hoping for. She is, the way she's pointing there makes me think she thinks there's a double, and there just isn't. What's going to happen here most times is you're going to hit it
Play for an 8.
an 8th, so you got to risk flashing it, which is never comfortable. If she hits an 8th, she'll stick her shooter on her side red one, kill that red one. If she hits a 3rd, depending on how hard she can throw it, she might take out the yellow, take out her red, and her shooter might roll out too, which would be not very good. I liked her first call a lot better. See if she can prove me wrong here. So they like it. Sounds close. This is a good shot. I mean, she hit it where she wanted.
Good sweeping, guys.
Just the shot wasn't there. The angles weren't set up properly. They were too even to.
Sorry.
Too thin. I don't think so.
Le double, c'est plus haut. Fait que si je cache le dedans,
Actually
pas
hit
de
it
sur le
too
bord-là,
thick
puis
to
celle-là,
make the
elle va plus
double.
haut.
But it was. You have to throw it about 200 miles an hour and hit about a quarter inch of that rock, and then you can make it. But nobody can throw it that hard.
Yeah.
So still a good opportunity for Alberta. Still a 50-50 here. I mean, Chantal she can't nose this. It will certainly leave a double then for 2. She can't roll out. It would be a wide open hit for 2. So she needs to make that same hit and roll that she just made right to the button, and then probably she's going to steal a point or have a very good chance to steal a point. See how hard she decides to throw this. The same weight as her last one? Yeah, it looks like it.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Don't know why we're sweeping that right away. Nobody said anything.
Marie!
Roll up. Roll up. Maybe.
Oh, just quarter inch more curl.
Is it worth this for 2?
You're already second shot, I think, Diane. I would play the open hit for 2.
Oh, we're set. Thank you.
Yeah, there she got it. That's why Karen's there. Teamwork makes the dream work.
I think so. We haven't played much out here, but
That's unfortunate there from Chantal. A fantastic shot on her first and a pretty good throw on her second. A little bit of early sweeping. I don't know if the front ends thought they saw something. As a fellow front ender, sometimes if I see what looks to be a soft throw or a spot that's going to curl, I'll sweep it a little bit early. Don't let my back end know that. Don't let Ryan and Mike know that, or any of them over the years, that sometimes I don't wait for them. I make a decision on my own. I don't know if I'm qualified to do that, but that's what I do sometimes, and maybe that was what Quebec was doing. But probably that sweeping, not to point any fingers, but that was probably enough to cause the difference between nosing it and rolling that inch high and leaving red second shot. So
clean.
big opportunity here for Diane Foster in Alberta for a wide open hit for 2.
You got it. Clean.
Looks like no trouble. And they're going to take a lead into the break here. 3-2 Alberta going into the 4th end break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
It's a beautiful blend of strategy, skill, and creativity. Curling. But it's our people that make us great. We're a mosaic of countless experiences. We communicate and collaborate. We value new ideas and different perspectives.
I like it.
We learn from our past and from our future. We may even disagree sometimes, but it's in our differences that we can see our strengths. The beauty of our sport is reflected in our people and our values. Regardless of your ethnicity or gender, your abilities, your stage in life, your beliefs, or who you love. The rocks and the ice don't discriminate. And as curlers, we won't either. We will be the change that we want to see in the world. Curling is a place for everyone.
The Curling Cares calendar is back for 2023. 25 curling athletes from 7 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
It's time to experience the wonder and excitement of Yarmouth and Acadian shores. Stay at one of the many charming accommodations, adventure along the ocean coast, or just be cozy by the fire and enjoy some of the darkest and clearest skies in North America. This December, be a part of the action with the Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championship. You'll find all of this and so much more with your special getaway in Yarmouth and Acadian shores.
Welcome back to the action here from Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, the Everest Funeral Concierge Canadian Senior Curling Championships. We're still in fourth end break here on our feature sheet, a 3-2 lead for Alberta over Quebec in what has been an entertaining game to this point. We've got action on all 5 sheets. Newfoundland and Ontario on the ladies' side are also in the fourth end break. Ontario answered the 3-steal with a 2 back of their own, so they're down 6-4 without the hammer. Newfoundland will have the hammer going into the fifth end with a 2-point lead. BC Nova Scotia on the ladies' side. Nova Scotia up 3-2 with the hammer. Still playing they're playing the fifth end now, and looks like Nova Scotia have a chance for a deuce for sure, but lots of rocks still to come. And then Saskatchewan versus Yukon over on the far sheet in the ladies' event. It looks like Sherry Anderson was forced to 1 in the fourth end, so 6-2 Saskatchewan. Yukon with the hammer starting the fifth end here. So. Lots of great games, lots of excitement. The men's game here in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. I'd love to give you an update, but these Nova Scotia fellas are big fellas. They're tall, and they block the scoreboard like, there we go, like an eclipse. It looks like it's 3-3. They are still in the fourth end, so might be some time clock issues there. Lots of these players are not used to playing with time clocks. Everybody on this sheet would be. The Nova Scotia guys, lots of experience, and the New Brunswick guys. So, but lots, just rocks everywhere. That's what's taken so long here. But last rock on the way here. Nova Scotia with the hammer and looking at some kind of run back. Looks like if they hit it perfect, it's a highlight reel shot for sure. But might be playing an angled raise here for 3.
You want to guard?
Power sweeping.
See what happens. I know you can't see this, but pretend we're listening to the radio. So throwing it hard.
It's true, it's true.
They like it. It's a yep, whoa, yep, whoa, yep, whoa. Looks like clean is what they're looking for. Oh, they misread the angles a little bit, but I think he made it for 2. I think the drag fooled them there a little bit. Looks like 2 and a 5-3 lead for Nova Scotia going into the second half of the game. So back on our sheet, looks like we got a shoelace untied. Got to take care of that. Don't want to be slipping and falling and tripping on a shoelace. But a big deuce there from Team Alberta to take the lead. First multiple score of the game. And I think you'll probably see Diane throw this one in the house, but let's see what she decides to do. Big curling day in our family. I believe at the same time right now, my wife Jennifer is commentating at the Grand Slam of Curling in Oakville, Ontario, the WFG Masters. So I apologize, Jen. I'm sure everybody's listening to me, and that's probably why nobody's watching that game. But
No corner, no corner. That's nice.
So Diane's called for the center guard. I like it. We're going to get after it. Chantel's just going to play the straight come around. Maybe we'll tweet at Jen in the Grand Slams and see what's going on over there. Intern come around here being asked of Sylvie Daniel.
Whoa, the ball, whoa.
I haven't seen any corner guards really thrown in this game, I don't think. That's not true. Diane threw one, I think, in the second end. This one's got a curl. Still struggling to get the line on some of these shots. That's perfect weight. You can see it's going to be wide open.
Just your 10 is good.
Sounds narrow.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yep, 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 yep. Got it. Good sweep.
Great sweep there.
Got it, girl.
Gonna roll out, but
Fine.
got that one a little bit inside for sure. Right out of the hand, they jumped on it.
J'ai de la place entre les gars. J'ai encore bien de la place. J'ai encore bien de la place. Vas-y, juste José.
Another come around.
OK, wow. OK, Sylvie. Je vais te couper le balai.
Control.
So another chance, another undercurl on the in-turn. So I don't know if that's something in the ice they're not seeing, or it could also be maybe Sylvie's in-turn. She's just a little bit straighter, a little bit more inside to outside, a little bit more backward motion when she lets it go. Something that they're going to have to figure out. I mean, she's consistent, so I think it's just a matter of tightening up the ice, maybe just for Sylvie. But still a chance here. Nothing really crazy happening just yet. A chance to make the hit and roll and set up a deuce.
Push.
Sounds like they like it. Usually make a hit and roll when not a word is said. As a sweeper, you want to hear yes, no, clean, close. When you hear nothing, usually it's not exactly perfect. Good shot there. Needed to stick around. Don't want to give Alberta the free come around. There's the legendary Randy Furby, 6-time Brier champion, standing beside the voice of curling, Stu Brown. Like I said, Everest does it right. These curlers even get introduced by Stu Brown, the voice of the Brier, the voice of the Season of Champions. A fellow Barrie, Ontario native. A lot of great people live in Barrie, I understand. Oh, this one sounds like we might have flashed it. Unforced error there. And again, release related for sure. A call right out of the hand. And all of a sudden, Quebec in the driver's seat, looking to get that deuce back right away, which is exactly what they'll be after. Make a good come around here. You know, might be a possibility for 3. So I was wrong. Nova Scotia only scored 1 point in the 4th end. Keeping my batting average very high. Hall of Fame numbers here, I'm being wrong. 4-3 Nova Scotia after 4 ends. New Brunswick with hammer in 5.
Really hard.
Important to get this in the rings. Free come around. Speed looks good.
Go, 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 go.
Trying to make it curl. Speed looks perfect. It's a good shot. Mostly buried, I think, or at least half buried. No double, which is a key. If they take that right to the top 4 foot, they're going to set up a double off the wide one. So that's a really good spot. Mostly buried, but a chance here. Karen with a chance to be the hero for her team this end and make a hit and roll behind now what is staggered guards. That was a great angle there. You could see she got that one pointed towards the target. Curled early. A well-thrown curling rock does not curl for the first half of the sheet. And hitting it on the wrong side. So really good opportunity for deuce here. You're going to see Chantal probably just draw the wing. Oh, and I'm wrong again. That's 2 for 2 in the last, I don't know, 90 seconds. Aggressive call here. Great call if you make it. If you slip behind the tee line, it's going to cause you trouble. I think if you go open side here, it's really simple, but I like the aggression here. Jose trying to make up for a couple of uncharacteristic misses. She made some great shots early and just didn't get the results she wanted last end. So no brush laid to this, which tells me, unfortunately, this is probably quite heavy. It's on a line. Anytime it's on that wide line. Okay. It's actually in the rings. So, accidentally, it's
I
not.
think so.
That red one did hit. I know you can't hear me, but it did hit. Yeah. But if that was closer and she's back 4 foot, that's actually a much worse result than where they ended up. That's not too bad. There's 10 feet between them. They're both fairly buried. Diane asking Karen Morrison on her. This is her last third shot of the end for the run back. Big shot here. This late in the end, if you don't make contact on the one in the top 12 foot, 3 is not only on the table, it's fairly likely. And we're just going to see a peel of this guard here, I think. I'm not in love with that call. I think if you wanted to play a hard shot, play the come around to the button with the intern behind everything. Now you got no guards, and that center guard was probably your saving grace for Alberta if you wanted to get out of this. I get the idea. If you make it, it's a great shot, but run backs are not so easy. They're not as easy as Kevin Cooey makes them look.
On est correct. T-line, les filles, T-line. T-line, faudrait que ça curle un peu. Ça curle beaucoup.
Like it to curl, it needs to curl a lot, Chantel says. Beaucoup is a word I definitely know.
Le plus loin possible. Beau, Wade, Joe. C'est beau.
So perfect shot, right on the tee line. No easy doubles. You're going to see Diane Foster try and hit and roll across the house to that back one. Opportunity, if she rolls right to it, it'll stay buried and might even be shot rock. Interesting here. The Curling Canada handles that anybody who watches curling with the red and green lights, the hog line sensors, they've been having trouble getting parts for them, through COVID. And they're testing them out here, but they're only on one sheet. So I've seen a couple blinking red, which means it's a hogged rocket comes off, but because they're only on one sheet, they're actually not in play. So it doesn't have to come off. Even though everybody on the sheet knows he went over the hog line when he threw that last one, it does not come off. But that's the right choice. You can't have different rules from sheet to sheet. Right out of her hand, the sweepers pick this one up. Can they save it for Diane and roll right over to that back one? When your line callers stop yelling after they've yelled the whole way, that's another bad sign. It's another indicator that, okay, I'm going to stop sweeping now because we've missed this. I only got so much energy to give, and I like to give the energy on the shots we're going to make. I'm in my 40s now. Give me a break.
Control up.
The other sheets there kind of.
So Diane's talking a lot this game about how this sheet is different than the other sheets in the arena. One of the challenges the curlers are facing this week is they're going back and forth from the arena to the curling club, and not only is the speed different, but the curl's different, the feel's different. It's an adjustment. You get comfortable with draw weight and the ice, and then you switch to a completely different building. And as I said earlier, that's what's happening with the championship pool. I don't understand that. If anybody knows why, I don't even know who to talk to find out why we would have some of the seeding games in the arena, while we would have some championship pools to try and crown our Canadian champion to represent Canada at the World Championships. Why we would have those in the curling club doesn't make sense to me. If anybody wants to send me a message as to why that makes sense, I'm open to discussion. So same shot here, a little bit harder this time. Before it was in a nice spot where that back yellow one was almost a catcher. Now it can be a catcher, but it's not a natural catcher where you just roll into it. It has to be a double now, because certainly she's going to throw takeout weight hard enough that if it doesn't hit that yellow one in the back, it's going to roll through the rings. So trying the hit and roll behind. Oh, she's perfect commentary there. I don't know that it is okay. Hard for a piece, I think. Oh, geez. Just not her best slide. Yeah, she didn't fall. That's points for that, but not her best slide. A little bit unstable coming to the hack, a little speed wobble. She thought she got it back online, but didn't. Hopefully she didn't hurt herself. She's rubbing her knee there a little. And now we've got a, no, I think she's asking for the other turn. Yeah, there we go. So now a big draw for 4 to take a 3-point lead, 6-3 after 5 ends, and Quebec put themselves in a very good chance to win this game and continue to stay near the top of the standings in the championship pool. Probably going to run. She said didn't think it was pas mal. I think that's not bad. It's going to hit the top one here. So as a sweeper, I'm sweeping this one aggressive, hard clean, no picks. We're going to run into something in the top 12 hit here. Yeah, Diane, you're going to need some guards because there's 4 on the board for Quebec in the 5th end. And Team Osborne from Quebec now has a 6-3 lead heading to the 6th end. Alberta needing a bit of a comeback. We will be back with you in a few moments.
The Curling Cares calendar is back for 2023. 25 curling athletes from 7 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Curling fans, I'm Brent Lang here, live from the Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championships. It is championship pool day, the first day of championship, and we've got a lot of great action here. We've got 5 sheets in action, 4 ladies games, 1 men's game. There's also 3 other men's games going on at the curling club right now, which was the hot topic last night in the lounge. Some people are surprised that in the championship pool they'd have to still remain playing over at the curling club, but we talked about a little bit that last end. I won't beat a dead horse. Again, if anybody has any comments or questions about that, fire them away on Twitter at blang99. So, a big end for Quebec and Quebec curling fans to take a stranglehold on this game, a 3-point lead with only 3 ends left to play, and a perfect start here for Darlene. I played a lot of lead in my life in juniors and the last few years in men's, and I always felt like after a big end, it was easy to let up, but I always wanted to remind myself, okay, this is the most important end of the game. The end you're playing right now always is, whether or not we realize that. But let's make sure I continue this momentum. The last thing I want to do is make a mistake, throw it back 8, throw a guard, and really kind of kill that momentum instantly. If I can get my 2 shots in a good spot here, it's going to continue to make Alberta feel like, ooh, we're in trouble, and it's going to continue to make my team feel like we're rolling. And momentum is a tricky thing. It's hard to get and super easy to lose. So I always felt as a front end player, as a lead and as a second, it's really important to set up my back end, my skip and third to really keep that feeling and that momentum going. So see if Sylvie can follow up that first one. And same on the other side, you know, for Darlene, it's super important to, after a 4-ender, if she slides that guard in the rings, you're going to see shoulders drop, whether or not we're mentally tough or not. It's a difficult thing to deal with, and you got to give your team a chance. And so it looks like a really good start here from the leads. Another quality shot there from Sylvie Daniel, lead for Team Quebec. So Darlene playing the freeze, and I agree with that with Diana. Up in front's okay, but we're down 3 with 3 ends to go, and I know you don't want to be heavy here, but I don't love hearing the last thing out in my head being, it's okay if you do this. Inevitably, this is kind of what happens. She's thinking, okay, my skip doesn't want me to be heavy, and she throws it light, and obviously didn't get it out to the broom. Was afraid to be aggressive with it, and not a bad result. Those corner guards are lined up pretty nice, but they're going to have a problem to deal with in the middle for sure. See if we got any questions on social media. Nobody really wanting to talk to me. Rick Edwards, though, was there a conspiracy theory to not have Team Ontario on the feature sheet? Well, I doubt it, Rick. I know you're joking, you're tongue-in-cheek there, but I don't know how they put the draw together, to be honest with you, Rick. But I don't think I've seen any team twice yet, and I think this is the 6th game I've covered, so I'm sure they'll get their shot. I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but I do have it on my phone. I can look that up for you, Rick. As Quebec's throwing another come around, and this one's staying a little wide. They're going to leave it as a guard. So even being down 3, Diane's got some cleanup to do here. looks like if she hits the one they just threw, you know, half rock low, you might be able to come in off the back of the center guard and get one in the rings. That would be certainly be nice. Sorry, Rick, I got distracted. I'm looking it up for you here. Feature sheet. We got Ontario men. You are correct. You've probably already done your research as a super fan, Rick, and looked it up, but Ontario women, what a great shot. Get buried too. Oh, trick shot. How good is that? That's how you turn an end around. It looks like it stayed dead buried almost behind staggered guards. They are lined up. She might be able to get this going straight back, but you're right, Rick. Ontario ladies do not have a game. There's one way. There's definitely one way, and Rick mentioned that. If you want to be on the TV sheet, play in the playoffs, get to the final, then they got to put you on the TV sheet.
No. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Joe!
It's always a bone of contention with players. It's always quite entertaining. Why aren't we the TV game? Why is this the TV game? And so a great shot there. Double peel, kills the one in the house. Back-to-back fantastic shots from both teams. There is still a couple of corner guards, so still an opportunity here for Alberta. And I think the decision makers that put the games on TV, I know at the Brier and at the Grand Slams, they do it because they're trying to get people to watch. So everybody has family, and I know we all want to be on TV, but they're doing the best they can. Scott Higgins and Curtis Saville are the two guys I think of that are kind of in charge at TSN and Sportsnet.
Yeah, bring it then.
I can tell you for sure curling fans are extremely fortunate with the quality of coverage that we get in our country of our beloved sport, curling here. We're about to go into the season where you almost could watch curling every day for a few months.
Okay.
So that was supposed to be a corner guard. Got one buried, but they're both in the house and room for a double peel here. We know that Jose Friolet here can really throw the right weight. We know she can throw it hard. She missed one wide here earlier in the game, so we'll see if she can make that adjustment. Needs to hit this one close to the nose.
Marie!
Technically, good looking slide.
Hard, Marie, hard!
But she's got this one a little wider than they hoped again.
Hard, lâche pas! Whoa!
They're interested though, sounds close. Oh, heartbreak. Missed it by a quarter inch, not even on the first one, but good shot. The back one's pretty open. And it's getting late in the end, and now that the one that is left in the house for Alberta is behind the tee line, they certainly can't throw a guard. So Diane is asking Karen to freeze one right on shot rock. Lock it right on there, bite the top 4 foot on the center line. A shot that they should know the line for sure.
Line's gonna get tight here. Where are
Couple of key updates. Rick Edwards, they're not on TV, but Ontario is tied now 6-6. They must have stolen 2 points in the 5th end. What a wild one between Newfoundland and Ontario on the ladies' side. 6-6 playing 6 with Newfoundland with the hammer. So this one's over curled. But the key is not to leave a double. They haven't left any double. And they've got 2 in the ring, second and third shot. Still a chance for a deuce. And then New Brunswick men on over Nova Scotia here, a deuce to take the lead 5-4 into 6. That close battle continues between certainly two of the contenders. Looks to me like on the men's side, pretty much everybody has a chance. 3 losses was a lot to bring with you into the championship round, so those guys have some work to do. But I think actually New Brunswick might be one of those 3-3, so they have to win this game. Hit and roll in front. Did she leave a double, and will it hit that back red one? Those are all the things that I can read minds. That's what Diane's thinking right now. I know I can make the double, she says, but does it come over and clip that red one? It's going to depend where you hit it. I think a lot of times it does.
I think this double's going straight back here, though.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it does. If you could throw it really hard and hit it right on the nose, I think you can make it miss.
So just nose.
But I don't think anybody, not on this sheet, I don't think anybody in this bonspiel can probably throw it hard enough. There's only a handful of people in the world that can. Got to go all the way out of the 8 foot. So nose hit gets them kind of a good result. Same result as before. They're going to be second and third shot. Uh-oh. Doesn't sound like they like it. Karen, you can see Karen's looks a little concerned here. Maybe roll behind the corner. Got to stay in the 8 foot. Does not stay in the rings. Yellow still shot rock. The red one is protected though, second shot, as silly as that sounds. Team Quebec would love to hit that red one, but there's just no real way to hit it. So they're gonna have to draw over in the 8 foot. And then you're gonna see Diane and Team Alberta try and probably chase that shot rock and roll over towards the one that Chantel's about to draw in the rings. Chantel hit and stay, and Diane's gonna have to hope that there's a double for 2 here. Advantage Quebec right now.
Égal à l'autre, les filles. Ouais.
The other updates, Team Saskatchewan forced Yukon on the ladies' side, so 6-3 with the hammer, playing the 6th end for Team Saskatchewan. And in the BC-Nova Scotia ladies' game, it looks like Nova Scotia was forced to 1 in the 5th, so up 4-2 without the hammer. We've got BC with the hammer, down 2 points, playing 6, and Nova Scotia looks to be lying 2 behind the center guard late in the end, so advantage Nova Scotia there. Back on our sheet, Chantel trying to even them up so there's no double. Lie 2. She's done both of those things. Oh no, they got to keep going here. That might stop short. Did that stop short? I don't know. I would have a look at that, Diane. I don't. They're not even going to look at it. It looks to me like that's, if yellow's lying 2, I think they're lying 3. And I don't think that's the case, so I'm surprised they're not even having a look at this. Might be just a hit and roll to lie 2 here. Just going to try the double, I guess, hit and roll over there. I'm at a disadvantage in the booth, folks. The overhead camera, for those who don't know, is very rarely dead over where the rocks are. It's over somewhere near the button, but that's not the best angle to see who's shot rock. So not only am I usually wrong with what I say, I'm definitely usually wrong with that because I'm getting bad information too. She went for it here. She's thrown the weight to make the double, but the line, she likes it. Oh, she just, disaster. Just missed the double, so close, and yet gets just a horrible result, unfortunately. And Chantel's going to be able to draw the house here again. And important though for Chantel to hit the house, because there is a double for 2 right now. That back red one did stay as a biter, I believe. So same shot. Should be no problem here.
Moi, j'en ai moins, je pense. Moi, j'en ai plus?
Sweepers aren't touching this one. She just threw this shot, so I would expect she'll make it, but just has to stay anywhere in the rings. She's going to do that, no problem. Good shot. Mission accomplished for Quebec. A little bit uncomfortable for Alberta here. A shot against 3. Do you prefer the draw or do you prefer the hit? Just saw Chantel throw the draw. I think the draw is easier if you're comfortable with it. This really comes down to what are you comfortable with as the skip. So right back to it. It is, full 4 foot, so you don't have to go right back to it, but you do need a piece of the button here. nice as the sweeper. You want to hear early on if we've got the line to go to the backing. I just want to know as a sweeper here, can I sweep it aggressive, or do I have to be putting pressure on me and going to make me sweep it right to the right spot with no backing? A lot of what I look for in curling is a way to make things easier. Both shooting, strategy, and sweeping. So we don't need to curl, so this one's over curling the back one. Nobody's saying that, but I think it is. Not a lot of great communication there. And unfortunate steal, perfect weight. But that's going to be a steal one for Quebec and a 7-3 lead heading into the 7th end and getting closer to their goal of winning the first game in the championship pool. We'll be right back after this quick message.
The Curling Cares calendar is back for 2023. 25 curling athletes from 7 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Yarmouth, Nova Scotia here. I'm Brent Lang, your host for today, watching the feature game, Quebec versus Alberta, and Quebec has really taken control of this game in the last couple of ends and really has one hand on the W already, but got to finish this off, up 4 playing 7, and Alberta looking for a little bit of a miracle comeback. Getting a message here from a curling legend in Quebec, Louis Biron. He's watching online. Hopefully you're still watching, Louis. Sorry, I didn't see that earlier. But I got to commentate one of Louis' son's games at the Canadian Club Championship. It's always great to see a whole family that curls. It is such an amazing family sport. That's how I got into it. My parents both curled. I think at least our oldest daughter will curl. My son has no interest in it. That's fine. He wants to play hockey. But I think both of Jen and my daughters, I think they'll both curl. Bella's loving it. She knows more about curling at 10 than most people do, because she's grown up in these arenas. But great to hear from you, Louis. And I'm sure you're watching, cheering on your home province of La Belle Province in Quebec. And they're looking good here for a W and to continue to be right near the top of the standings. Not really any other updates yet. No other ends are finished. So in our game, strategy's pretty simple here. And I didn't see Quebec's first shot. I was busy checking my messages there. My apologies, but must have thrown it through. I don't think they would have hogged it, thinking I don't want to throw a guard. Sometimes we throw it too far. But Alberta's going to need some guards. And Quebec's going to want to hit everything they see that is not their rock color. Anything red, they're going to want to hit it as soon as they can. This is where the free guard zone, the 5-rock free guard zone is so important in our game. Keeps these games entertaining, but it also keeps them curling and not just throwing open takeouts the whole time. Listening to Hackner last night and Furby, and Hackner was always known to try and mix it up, and he had some great comeback games, including the 1985 Brier win he had, and he said when he played with Furby, which they've been good buddies forever, they played in some events, and he said their deal was for the first half of the game, Al could call whatever he wanted. And Randy and Walchuk were playing with them at the time in these events. But regardless, after 4 ends, as long as they weren't losing, it was time to start hitting. And Al said, then if we were winning after 4 and we got Furby and Walchuk hitting, it wasn't even a fair fight. And 2 of the best hitters to ever play the game without the free guard zone. I don't think I would have lasted in the game in terms of, I don't know how it would have been exciting other than the ice was so bad back then a lot of times that there were misses. But, that Team Ryan, the Ryan Express, was a big part in why we needed the free guard zone and why Russ and Glenn, I think, created I know they created that rule because they used to play one-on-one in practice, and one guy would get a deuce early, and then they'd peel him out, and it got boring in practice, so they started to make some rules where you couldn't do that. So 2 guards from Alberta. Now Quebec probably just going to try and fill the rings, but this one's wide and looking to be on the corner guard here for Marie-Josée Pricot. And this is definitely going to hit the corner guard. Not enough weight to do any damage. But that's a rock that Alberta likes and Team Quebec certainly doesn't. So a chance to make a hit and roll. A chance to maybe just make a come around. Need to get one buried. Is it easier to get one buried on a hit and roll, or is it easy to make a come around? I would always say come around, but personal preference.
You know what? I don't know if that's going to work. I think it's going to stay up there. Got it, curl.
Margaret Lamore, I appreciate the message. Enjoying the commentary on the Canadian Senior Curling Championships. Thanks for watching. Always fun to talk curling. One of the only things I know anything about in life. Spent a lot of time over the years learning about this game, and it's always fun to watch and learn more. Every time you watch a game, there's something potentially you can learn, and just offer some of my experiences. I've been fortunate to play with a lot of the greatest players of my era, for sure, and a lot of the greatest players of all time at some point. Fortunate to be able to kind of tie my ship to their dock and float along and get some big wins over the years. Obviously, most of those coming with Team Howard, Glenn Howard, Rich Hart, Craig Saville, and Wayne Middaugh there for a few years. Trying to clean up some of this situation in the house. Got a couple of them out. Still lots of guards, lots of opportunity, and that red one is in the rings. So a couple of made shots here from Alberta, and 3 is not only possible, it should be fairly likely, unless Quebec switches gears and wants to go offense here to stop the 3, but that will risk the 4. Be interesting end here. We got a lot of action here set up.
Line might get tight. Hurry, guys. Line is good. Bring it every inch. Every inch. Come on. Come on.
Some missed opportunity here. Free come around. No, it's
Okay.
You need guards. I get it. It's okay to be light. You don't want to be through the rings, but interesting to see what Chantal does. She's got one top button half buried. Can see her. She's conflicted. What would Coach Merck want you to do here, Chantal?
Que soit ça ou qu'on pile.
I think there's 2 shots that I would consider. This wouldn't be one of them. I think it makes sense to hit and roll in off the red one. That's where she's headed. Try and roll right into the 8-foot, even into your own, wouldn't be too bad. The other shot I see, if you're feeling frisky, is you just throw a guard or throw a straight come around, beat them in there. You know somebody's going to get around those 3 guards. There's no run backs to be had.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Jose, another whoa, whoa, whoa on an in-turn hit. I think maybe she's sliding wider than she feels there. And
Okay.
time to tighten up the ice, but contact is key. Wayne Middaugh, rule number 1 of a takeout, you got to take it out. So that was a good start there. Still a chance for Alberta here. Only 4 rocks remaining. So Karen Morrison, 3rd stone for Alberta with her first one of the end. Trying to make a little tap and roll. The key is to get your shooter buried here, however you got to do it.
Stay close.
Like the throw.
Got it, curl.
As long as the speed is right. If she's heavy, it will not curl enough. But this one's on a pretty good line. I don't think you want to be curling this. I think they carved it right into the guard.
We're good.
Oh. Fantastic shot there. Shot rock even.
Okie dokie, good shot.
Okie dokie. I think what she meant to say was fantastic shot, Karen. Thanks for setting us up for a deuce. Now, how does Quebec deal with that? If there was just 1 guard, there's no question, they just peel. But there's 3 guards, and they're all guarding part of it, so they need to make at least a double peel here. Looks like if you hit about a half a rock on the outturn side here, Jose might even be able to make the triple. The yellow, red in the house. Split it out. That would be a fantastic shot, but any kind of double on these guards would be a great shot. Doesn't sound like they love it. Don't want to just chip this red one in the rings. Oh, that was very close to happening. But Alberta's shot rock buried and shooting. So updates, Ontario got rid of that pesky hammer and are on the steal train. Ontario steals another one in the 6th end. That's a massive steal to be up 1, playing 7 with Newfoundland and Labrador with the hammer. We've got 5-2 Nova Scotia on the ladies' side after 6, a steal for Nova Scotia. As I mentioned, they were looking good for the steal. They did cash that in. And then a blank end on Saskatchewan Yukon. So Saskatchewan retains the hammer into 7, up 6-3, and in full control of that game. Nova Scotia was forced to 1 in 6. So in what looks to be a fantastic, entertaining game, 5-5 after 6. New Brunswick with the hammer. Little cat and mouse going on here in 7. Trying to force one center guard. They're chasing, hitting and rolling. Somebody's going to make a roll or a roll out or come around, and either a deuce or a blank, or sorry, a deuce or a steal there probably. Blanks almost never happen when you try and make them in 7 in my experience. What a great shot there. That's a perfect pair of curling shots there from Karen Morrison. The perfect back ring, hit and roll. Follows it up with a dead freeze. I don't like where Team Quebec's looking over there. I think the action's in the middle. I know that is a really good freeze though, but I still think you're either going to nose that thing or you're going to try and blast it out. You could play the run back on the yellow, but if you don't make it, you don't open anything up. And you're going to be in a worse situation. So at least if you hit and stay here in the 4-foot, they have to deal with it. Most are going to give up 3. They are up 4. So I think the action's in the middle here on the shot rock at the back 4-foot for Team Quebec. Teresa Breen from Nova Scotia with a big double takeout in the 7th end to lie 3 without the hammer. Taking the deuce away from BC just like that.
Like probably back 8 foot. No, we wanted to bump yours out of that one back far. Well, it was.
So they have chosen the hit on the back.
Yep. Whoa!
Don't want to roll, don't want to undercurl here. If anything, you want to overcurl. You don't want to pump this red one buried and roll out of the 4-foot. That would be the worst result, but great shot there from Chantal. She's really played well this game. Her experience shining through. She's getting the weight right, which makes the game easier, gives you a better chance of making those shots. And out of nowhere on the New Brunswick-Nova Scotia game, 5 minutes ago I said they were looking for a blank, and Nova Scotia's drawn to lie 3 without the hammer in 7. I don't know if it's just me and the teams I've been on, but usually when you try and blank 7, you get forced. So I hate getting forced when you didn't even take a chance for a deuce. So I like trying to make the deuce. If you do get forced that way, at least you took a shot and you're still up 1 without coming home. That's Nova Scotia calling the weight there. They're in. Line's not very good though. So on our sheet, Diane trying to make the same shot here that Chantal just made, but hopefully she's decided to play less weight. If she can hit this about 3/4 on the low side, stay on it, even 7/8, bump her other one to the back 12-foot, she's going to have 3 in the rings that they can't take out. This is close. Still needs to curl. Weight looks really, really good. Oh, what a good shot this is, folks. What a great shot. That's absolutely perfect. You can see Quebec's challenge now. What are they going to do? You could throw a freeze. You can definitely get 1 out and hold them to 3. You can hit that one she just threw almost anywhere. I think I would take my medicine and do that. Chantal's comfortable. If she draws one anywhere in there, even if it's just top 8, it's still going to be a tough even deuce for Alberta. So certainly not a bad call here.
Je suis le coin du 8. Un peu moins. Oui, un petit peu plus. Oui, à l'intérieur de la pierre.
Next draw today is at 3:30 Eastern, 4:30 local time. And who do we got playing here? We've got Yukon versus PEI in the seeding pool. We've even got a seeding pool game, not only in the arena, but it's the stream, the feature game. Battling it out for 9th through 12th position here, or 9th through 14th rather. Chantel's got this one wide and trouble. You need this one to stop for 4th shot, and it's not going to. An opportunity for 4 points here for Alberta to tie this game up going to the 8th end. Wowzers.
Yeah, but I need a little more weight. I need to bump it right out the rings.
Not an easy shot here, but looks to me like you want to throw at least hack weight. Don't want to be light here in case you hit it a little bit high. You want to be able to kill that yellow one. You see Chantel, she's disappointed with herself. Time to regroup though here, even if Diane does make this shot, which I'm sure she will. You're tied with the hammer coming home. That's what you want starting the game. See if Diane can come through here and tie this game up. We have our first final. Team Saskatchewan, ladies draw, takes 3 and 7 to win the game quite comfortably. I believe the final score is going to be 9-3 over the Yukon. Yukon's still playing with 3 players. So here it comes, folks, to give us some serious action in the last end. Looks like no problem. Absolutely no problem. There they are. 4 red for Alberta, and we've got a tie game, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to cover the last end action.
The Curling Cares calendar is back for 2023. 25 curling athletes from 7 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back, fans. Hopefully nobody left this game, and I'll take the blame. I owe Quebec a favor. I said they had one hand on the W about 15 minutes ago, and now they certainly don't. I mean, it's anybody's game still. Certainly advantage Quebec if they can mentally rebound from a bad 4-ender there. But tie game coming home. Alberta looking to steal the victory. Quebec needing 1 point with the hammer to take the victory here in championship pool action from the Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championship. Update Nova Scotia, BC on the ladies' side. After that great double by Teresa Breen for Nova Scotia, it is 4-1. BC now down 2 without the hammer coming home. Nova Scotia in full control there. And first shot of the end, they make the perfect chip shot. Not only did they make the chip shot, they chipped it in the rings. Big trouble for BC. Obviously, our game, Newfoundland, Ontario are still playing the 7th end with Ontario up 1 without the hammer. Rocks kind of everywhere. Ontario in danger here of giving up quite a few if they make a mistake here. We got 3 reds in the rings, but Ontario is second shot. So interesting end shaping up there. And it looks to me like New Brunswick on the men's side is going to get forced to 1, or at least a shot for 1, as Nova Scotia lies 3, and New Brunswick will probably be up 1 coming home. So Team Quebec trying the chip shot here. Sylvie close, but I think the challenge, I think she just threw that maybe, it's a little bit too hard, but that's close to the weight and very close to the line. That's perfect weight, really. A good throw there from Sylvie, but just didn't quite get enough curl. So you're going to see a second guard from Alberta. They know they need something to hide behind. Darlene Hall with a solid game today, trying to finish it up with one more tight guard to give her team a chance here. Got to get some separation here. I got to stop saying people are playing well, and then they definitely miss the next shot. Get over the hog line. Okay, they got it over, but those are pretty close together. The camera angle does not look like that's over, but it is I guess I can't say gentleman's game anymore, can I? It's a gentle person's game. Is that what I'm supposed to say? It's a game of sportsmanship. We know that. So Chantel's not even going to go check that. She knows they would kick it off if it wasn't over the hog line. If it was close enough to check, Alberta would ask her to come check it and say, I'm not sure. What do you think? Love that part of the game. Similar to the way golf is supposed to be played. Both Scottish games in origin. Excuse me. Obviously a big part of Scottish culture is your character.
La ligne est belle entre les cas. Just the way.
So Chantel's switching gears here. She knows she has a chance at the double peel and thinking maybe we should beat them in. And this looks like a perfect come around from Sylvie, just biting the forefoot, literally where you would walk it down to if they would let you. But 2 guards and throwing a third. Okay. Throwing a tight center here. I think if they make this shot, Quebec's second, Marie-Josée Pricourt, is going to have a chance to make a highlight reel triple to really put this game on ice almost.
Line is good on this one.
Nova Scotia men have New Brunswick in a little bit of trouble. Lying 3. New Brunswick has the hammer. Grant Odeshaw coming down
No, whoa, whoa, whoa.
to talk to his brother and Mike Kennedy.
Curl, yes.
So this one's sliding to the house, and they got the other option there, which was a freeze. So a good result nonetheless, but still a chance to get this double peel. So New Brunswick has a tough chase for 1 on the men's side here, or they can play a nose double for 1. The chase, if they just miss it, they're probably going to give up 2 or 3. So they've decided to play the double, tied with the hammer, thinking if I make this great, we score 1. If I miss it, as long as I stay and don't roll out, we're gonna give up a steal of 1. We'll have the hammer coming home. So I think a smart call here. Let's see if Marie can make the big shot for Team Quebec here, coming home in the 8th end.
Yep. Whoa.
Sounds close.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yep, whoa, yep, whoa.
Parfait.
Just a little bit too thin, but still a good shot. And now Alberta, I think now that the center guard is okay, eventually you're going to see, I think you're going to see Quebec eventually, if there's 2 guards, eventually say, well, we got shot rock. I think maybe it's time to maybe stop peeling guards and maybe just draw one in there beside it and put the pressure back on Alberta, but a little early for that yet. And Nova Scotia men do indeed steal 1 point in 7, so they're up 1 on New Brunswick coming home. New Brunswick with the hammer, down 6-5, playing the 8th end. Newfoundland, Ontario playing maybe the longest end of the week here on the next sheet, still playing the 7th end. Newfoundland set up for a deuce here. Ontario skip Joanne Rizzo playing a bit of a tricky hit that if she just overcurls, she's going to give up 3 probably. And Ontario is up 1 without the hammer in 7 here, so a big shot coming. So going into the rings here now and trying this double. This is awfully thin. I think they've missed the double, and she's asking them to curl. Didn't want to kill that yellow one. So things getting down to the nitty gritty, and there'll be some nerves here on both sides, I'm sure. I don't care how much experience you have. If you care at all, you get nervous. I think that's a good thing. So Karen Morrison here being asked by skip Diane Foster, Team Alberta, to throw the intern guard. Line's tighter. I want to just get the speed right here. Again, don't want to leave them a double peel. Got to get some separation between these guards.
We're going to come right down here. Just clean it. No more curl. No more curl. Okay, Karen.
It's a good shot. Double centers. Very difficult double peel. I think you're going to see her just peel the top one. But she's going to have a look at it. A lot of separation there. Great shot there from Karen Morrison. Well swept by the front end from Alberta. Going to try the run back here. You got to get very close to nose. You got to risk total disaster to make a great shot here. This is one where sometimes as a thrower I would say to my sweepers. You cool if I get after this, knowing that this might win us the game, but it might lose us the game.
Hard!
Sounds close. Oh, no. See what I mean? That was so close to perfect. Fantastic throw from Jose there, and just not a great result. The only saving grace is that, hey, you moved the one from almost biting the 4 to just full 8. I don't know what Diane's doing throwing a guard here. It looks to me like somebody's going to make that in-turn come around. Diane throws a guard here. I would fully expect Quebec to draw.
Can we do time, please?
Yeah, timeout. They're going to talk about it. I don't think either team is traveling with a coach this week. There are a couple of coaches around, but I don't think these teams have them. Let's listen in and see what they think.
I think we need to put another one up there if he tries to come around.
On va essayer de garder un path clean pour mon draw, là, intern. Après ça, tu l'avais l'autre. Une traction,
Hopefully you can hear them a little better at home than I can. It's a little bit tricky, but
Moi, qu'est-ce que je voulais frapper?
Diane's first comment was, I think we need to put another one up there.
Elle avait juste un petit peu trop rentré.
I personally, I don't think that. It's your third's last shot. You've got an opportunity to draw one dead buried on the button. You can't really ask for a better situation to steal than this. So I don't know what they ended up with.
Is that more?
So they did settle on the guard, and
Yep. Yep. Whoa, whoa.
I think if Coach Merck or strategy coach Pierre were here,
Take it away. Okay.
I think they'd be probably, well, I guess the double peel is pretty straightforward. If there was not an easy double peel, I think they definitely would have drawn there. But I like this call. This will just leave a very high guard, and then I do think that Alberta needs another guard. Hit this one pretty much anywhere high, Josie, and you're going to get the double peel. She has missed that in-turn wide a few times.
Marie!
This one's wide too. This is at best going to chip them in the rings off the other one.
Okay.
Right to the button. Yikes. Advantage Alberta at this point. This is a difficult guard to make, though. A lot of times this is going to over curl. It's not on the center line. The center line seems to be the guard we throw over and over again all game. And then when we go a little bit wider, especially later in the game, anytime in the game really, you go a little bit wider, you think, okay, I needed a rock wider, I'll take a rock more ice. And with guard weight, sometimes it's a bit heavier out here. It curls earlier and it curls like 1.5 feet more. And it over curls. It'll be interesting to see here. 2, got to get the speed right. That's a halfway guard. There's 3, kind of 1, 2, 3. Short of the rings. Want to dead guard this one on the button. That's certainly a rock that's good enough to steal the victory here. I wish she would say it as a sweeper there when somebody says, whoa, whoa. I want to know why. Are you saying, whoa, whoa, you thought you're heavy because I think your weight's good? Or are you saying, whoa, whoa, that you're wide? This is sliding a bit. Needs to stop curling. It's a good shot from Diane Foster and Team Alberta. So communication is great in this game. We got to have a lot of communication, but it has to be clear communication as well.
Yeah, I wanted like a foot lighter, but I didn't want to be much lighter than that.
So timeout coming here from Quebec as well, and they're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get out of this mess?
Parce que si je fais juste la piler,
Gonna have to hit the one she just threw somewhere. The question is, where do we try and hit it?
là, j'ai
Straight back double?
j'ai ça. Si je vais avoir juste ça.
slash it into the one top
Si j'essaie de
8.
venir, comme across, essayer de la pogner sur l'extérieur, mon shooter, il va peut-être rouler là. Parce que je
Do
pense
you
que
ever
je peux
run the
faire mieux
yellow,
que ça.
the high guard into the red one? If you don't make contact, the game is virtually over. I think the shot I like is running that tight red one into the one top 8. Even if you were to double
Ouais,
those
mais
off across
si
the
je vais là,
top or on the
elle
center
en
line
remet là, puis
side,
après ça, je fais quoi? J'ai
it's
juste
gonna
ça.
it's gonna force Alberta to guard that again. And then you're gonna have that out turn draw to the button, which is I know is not an easy shot, but at this point, any shot to win is
Mais là, si j'en pogne comme ça, puis après ça, j'ai pas de marge
what
de
Quebec is
manœuvre.
looking for.
Si je viens across the face, ça là, je frappe across the face, sit. Across the face, ouais, pour la poignée ici. Mon shooter, il va rouler là. Elle va s'en venir ici. Puis moi, je vais pouvoir faire là.
Sorry, I didn't get that, unfortunately. I don't think there's any question she has to hit that guard that Diane just threw.
OK. En autant que je fais le double. Si ça bouge pas tant, elle va s'en venir ici. Après ça, moi, je vais avoir la même droite que l'autre. OK? Je vais prendre ma pierre qui colle un peu moins.
So she's hitting it. I think if you were to hit like a half a rock here across the top, open up that out turn draw just in case, make her make another perfect guard. I think you're right, Diane. I think they were deciding where to hit it.
Too much sideways, it's just gonna, yeah. If they hit it too much sideways, it's just gonna spin right in front of that one.
Yeah, that's the risk. I mean, hitting this one too thick, you know, about 2/3 or so, it's probably going to jam it on the red. It might even roll back over in front of the one on the button, which would be a disaster. But Diane's still going to have to guard it, and you're going to have that out turn come around. So anything that moves that one top 8 out of the way is a really good shot here.
Yes!
She's got it close. Comes down to a line call now.
Yes!
Oh, this one's really curling. Maybe the double on the one on the button. Good alternative, and maybe that's what she was playing the whole time, folks.
Hein? Non, ben c'est ça que Joël disait, mais au moins, comme j'ai dit, en autant qu'on pogne à l'autre, je suis capable de... tu sais.
So another timeout. So both teams get 2 timeouts, I think.
You think, or here? This is a really tough draw this way.
I don't think you want to rely on one just full 8 to be your steal point, folks. I think you got to play the in-turn draw right to the top button buried. And then I think you got a really good chance of winning the game.
Either I'm here.
Si on s'en vient, je vais reprendre l'autre temps mort après là.
Either I'm here though, or else I'm going there.
So my translator friend here said that Chantal was worried about where the shooter was going to roll to, which makes a lot of sense. Didn't want to block anything off, so she was playing the run back there by the sounds of it and made a great shot and rolled to, I would say, almost the best place she could, kind of as much out of the way as she could to make that run back double. So thank you, Louis. And Diane's found the right shot here. There's no question she has to take on this draw.
Parce que si on s'en vient ici, dans la pratique, j'étais capable de venir chercher ça. J'étais capable de venir chercher le coin. En autant pour venir sur le piton, c'est la capoise. C'est vrai que ça a fleur du Canada.
I think it'll...
Mais il faut faire attention parce que quand on s'en vient un petit peu plus large, des fois, il finit un petit peu plus.
That's no good.
Oh,
I think I have to be here. I don't want to go over there. Here or in here.
What? I'm confused here, folks. Where she tapped her first one, top button would be a wide open, just like a backline hack weight hit for the win. She doesn't want to overcurl because it'll leave her the side of the button. Well, I would think if I offered her at the start of this end that a deal that says, Diane, here's what Chantal. Here's what Chantal.
I don't want to go in behind ours.
I don't know why.
Top 4 is okay, but about line, hey? So not too much more. Like, that's a hard draw.
She's not going to play that out turn draw, though, if you're top 4 wide open. So, like I was saying, I think if you offered Alberta a deal that Chantel's shot to win the game would be a draw to the side of the button, I think they would have taken it. She always thrown with her stopwatch in her hand there. It's interesting. I haven't noticed that.
Same weight about. Yep. Yep, where are we? Yep.
Line looks good. They're not even trying to make this shot though. I don't understand.
Fait qu'on veut-tu s'en venir ici? Ou on veut s'en venir là? Ça vient ici?
Good job, guys. Got enough to middle there.
Full 8.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused with that. I think I've made that clear, so let's move on. But difficult draw. I don't disagree with Diane that this is a difficult draw. You got to go out a little wider.
4, hey? Yeah.
4.
Draw the 8-foot. I would
Moi, je pense qu'elle doit être 95. J'aime mieux vous la
basically
donner
the same on both sides. The intern to me looks a little bit more natural, but that just could be something that I see. It's always important, whatever the skip, whatever the thrower sees here. Some people might see this as the out turn looks way easier. Some people the in turn. It doesn't really matter. They're basically the same draw. So Chantel's job here is to put some pressure on the sweepers and give them one that's close enough that it's going to be up to them to make this shot and win this game. It all comes down to this, folks. What a wild game to get to this point.
Si elle offre, tu sweepes pas.
I don't really have a horse in the race, so it's always nice to see a game end on a make. Oh, that took a big curl. I think that might have picked, folks. Still holding it. Still holding it. Oh, what a shot. And a great finish to a fantastic game. Great sweeping from the Quebec front end, and a sigh of relief. That would have been a tough way to lose that game, but very entertaining to start the championship pool. Quebec beats Alberta 8-7 in 8 ends.
Good game.
And we will be back in a couple of hours at 3:30 Eastern, 4:30 local. And I think we're covering a PEI men's game. I forget who they play. I think the Yukon. So thanks very much, folks. We'll be back soon.
Good luck here next. En fait, que je t'ai dit.